Hi, so this is going to be a time-lapse video of a basement workshop that we're renovating here. We've just moved into a new house, and the previous owner had finished the basement, but he left this one room unfinished for a little workshop that he had. There were some power tools in here, some workbenches. He had some pegboard on the walls too, just to kind of finish it off. But what we've done is we've gutted it, so we've taken out all the tools. He actually left some of the tools for us, which was pretty nice. But we've taken all those out. We've taken down the pegboard. There was some insulation on the walls here, or on this wall here, because there's a sauna behind there. So it was kind of dusty, so we'll just replace it. I've gutted the electrical too. So some of the electrical in this room was shared between the adjacent rooms. On this wall particularly, I've redone almost completely. Looks a lot better now, nice and straight. All the wiring is looking good. A few other preliminary things that I've had to do just before I started the time lapse, especially in this corner, it was pretty bad. This vacuum pipe here, it was coming down in front of the 2x4 here, and then it was kind of shoved, or just kind of held into the wall with the 2x4. So it was pushed in on an angle, and then it went down to this outlet here. Another problem was that the outlet was way too high. It was about 5 inches higher than all the outlets, like all the electrical outlets. So I've made them level on this side here. Repiped it, made it go through the top plate here, which looks a lot better, and it'll be easier when we put the plywood back on the walls. Also in this corner in particular, let's see, it's kind of dark. What happened was, I guess when the vacuum pipe went under the beam here, they dropped it down way too low, and it was about 5 inches lower. So when they finished off the basement here, when they finished off the ceiling, there ended up being a hole there where the 90 was showing through. So they just kind of patched it over with drywall compound and left it, and it looked pretty bad. So I've taken that and I've raised the pipe up here, which is pretty easy to do. It would have been easier when it was unfinished. I don't know why they didn't do it. Maybe it was too difficult, but so I kind of went in and did it myself, and we'll just kind of patch that in now and finish it off on that side. But just a few things I had to do beforehand before I started the time lapse, but it's looking a lot better now. And so here's some wire that I have ready to go. Just kind of spooled off. It's not the best system, but it works. In terms of the feeds for the electrical now that I'm going to be having, since I took out all the existing feeds, what I'm going to be doing is installing a sub panel here. So I've got a 100 amp feeder coming in. This is 2 gauge aluminum, 3 conductor coming in, and I'm going to mount the sub panel somewhere in this area here. So I've just stubbed into this room temporarily, and I'll fix that up when I actually mount the panel. So I'm going to have all the feeds for the plugs and stuff coming into this area. In terms of low voltage as well, I've got got 2 Cat 5s here and a coax. I think I only just need the Cat 5 for a computer, but I'm going to put a computer in this location here and just have iTunes running or something, just so I can have some music while I work. And I'll be putting 2 speakers on the ceiling as well. In terms of lighting, there were 2 existing lights here that the homeowner had. They're decent, but it could use a little bit extra lighting in here, especially when you're working. It gets kind of dim in the corner. So I'm going to put 4 lights in. I'll take out these 2 existing ones. I just have them kind of plugged in to an extension cord for now. This is where the switch leg came down to the light switch. So I'll change those out to 4 lights. And the time-lapse camera is right here. So it's just a GoPro camera I've kind of mounted in the ceiling, and I'll be documenting the process there, so you get a view like that, kind of. So that's what I'll be doing. Anyways, I guess I'll start the time lapse, or here, I'll show you the plan first. Here's the doorway coming in. So what we're gonna have is there's gonna be like a center workbench with the table saw kind of lined up with the workbench, so you can have like a big outfeed table. The 4 lights are here. There's gonna be a belt sander, disc sander station right there. A band saw. This is what was left by the previous owner, and same with the disc sander, so I may as well use them. There's gonna be a little workbench here, just with like storage cupboards and stuff, and then like we have a chop saw. I'm gonna mount it on a workbench here, and it'll be like a nice station to cut on, a nice and long support. Let's see, there's a drill press here. We also have a lathe too. I'm gonna see if I can mount it on like a swing under, so it kind of stows away. We don't use it too often, so it'll be kind of neat. And there's going to be a shop vac and a compressor mounted underneath this workbench here in like a sound dampening little booth or something, just so, because it gets pretty loud, so I'll see maybe if I can use that sound resistant drywall for it. But anyways, that's the plan there. It looks kind of complicated, but it'll get done. Anyways, we should be good to go. Okay, so this is the wall that the electrical panel is going to go on. It's going to go right about here, and you can see that the bays that are going to be covered, that the 2x4 bays that are going to be covered by the plywood sheet for the panel. What I've done there is I've put the insulation up behind there just so that it's easier to get in now before the plywood sheet goes on. So I've put that in now, and focus. There we go. The two right bays, they need the actual insulation behind, because that's where the sauna is. So that those 2x4 bays have to be insulated. The two left ones here, that they just have normal sound insulation behind there. There's just like the room behind there, so nothing needs to be insulated behind there. So they just have the normal sound insulation there. I wanted to cut around all the boxes and the wires and stuff there to make it look nice and neat instead of just shoving it in. So it takes a little bit more time, especially when they have like the vacuum pipe. It went across here and then down. That took a little more time because you have to kind of just notch the back of it and not cut right through. So, but I mean, it looks pretty good. It'll be covered, I guess, but it won't really matter. Just cut around this 2x4 here. I don't know why they left it going halfway up the wall, but kind of silly to me. But anyways, they did that, so I've notched around that. This was a nice and easy piece here. But anyways, so that should be good for starters, just so I can get the plywood sheet mounted up. I can get the panel in, and then get all these feeds finally tied into the electrical panel. Okay, just another quick update here. So I've got all the wires pulled down to the panel. They're all set to be tied in. So just want to show you what I've done here. I don't know if you can see on the time-lapse camera, so I'll just show you here. I've got all the feeds kind of all coming into into a channel there, I guess, and then down into the pipes. So I've ran three 1¼ inch pipes down, one for the feeder and two for the I guess the room feeds, and they're coming down to the panel here. Looks nice and organized, and you can see the main feeder there, the gray one coming down in the middle, and the two room feeds on the left and the right. So they kind of split off there, I guess, and I just tried to make it look neat. That's alright. And then I have, so on the left here, this is the focus. This is going to be the shop vac relay, the relay panel. So basically what's happening here is that I've got a feed from the panel. It's going out all the way over here to a switch. I think it's the middle switch right there. That's the master vac relay switch. So once that turns on, that's going to send power back out over to one of these 14.2s here. That's going to send power into the relay. From there, all these 18.2 wires, these are the relay switches. So I've got 11 of them all in the room here. There's like 11 switches. So here's going to be one down there on the workbench. A second one here, coiled up, ready to go. 3. There's another one up here. So all these switches are going to be able to turn the relay on. And what's going to happen is once that relay gets turned on, it's going to send power back out on the second 14.2 wire, and it's going to send it back out to the shop vac switch. Sorry, to the shop vac plug, which is right there. And then there's the vacuum port. So the shop vac is going to be right here. So it's just a cheaper way of basically turning on the vacuum with multiple switches. So instead of running like a 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3. Which would cost like a lot of money. This is just a lot easier. You're just running it's just the cost of the 18.2 wire, the box, and the relay versus I don't know how many feet of 3 wire and 9 4-way switches and 2 3-way switches, which would get pretty pricey. So this is just a simpler way, I guess. But anyways, yeah. So that's what I've got going there. So next, I think I'll move the time-lapse camera just a little bit closer, and I'll tie in the this panel right here.
You can't stop here. This is backcountry.
Well, I've just finished tying the panel here. I'll just let you take a look here. The panel on the upper left there, that's the relay panel. I haven't tied that in yet. I've just coiled the wires up inside for now and put the cover on. I don't have the relay yet or the transformer, so I'll have to do that at a later date. But anyways, I'll just let you take a look at this here. So you can see everything is pretty neat inside. I went a little, I guess, overkill with the zip ties, just tying everything together. I wouldn't normally do that, but I wanted it to look neat here, so I went ahead and tied all the wires together. It does look a lot neater anyway, so I'm pretty happy with the results. So I've got the grounds in the back. I did that first, and then the neutrals, and then the hots out in the front here. I know that there may be some comments or some people thinking like, especially over here, like you can't tie the wires together. You know, they have to remain separate and stuff. This is acceptable as long as the wires have been properly derated, which they have been in this case. I've got it's actually almost over derated, but so that's why this is possible. Especially running them through the conduit as they go up too. That may be frowned upon as well, but with proper deration, it's possible. So in this case, it's okay. Even in here, tying them together, you know. Anyways, what I like to do with the breakers here, from the main breaker, what I like to do is start with my largest double pole breakers, go down to my smallest single pole breaker, smallest double pole breakers, and then start with the single pole breakers. So largest single poles down to the smallest single pole. So I only have double pole 20s here, so double pole 20s, and then I have single 20s and single 15s. So keep getting smaller and smaller. As opposed to like staggering them all and stuff. And at the bottom here, then I have 2 empty spaces, which is recommended for future expansion. I like the square D breaker panels too, because especially with the breakers, they have like the orange trip indicator there. So this came from the factory, so it's been pre-tripped, just tested, I guess. So when you reset it, it just goes off. So I really like that. I also like the panels because they have a lot of gutter space too. I find the Siemens panels, I don't know if it's just the way I tie it in, but they tend to fill it pretty quickly. Square D ones I find are pretty nice, especially when you get into like the 60 circuit panels. You have a ton of wires in there, and I find there's just some more space for some reason. I'll show you the main feeder. So here's the main feeder coming in. That's that 2-gauge aluminum, three conductor. So you have the just some excess loops up there. Ground is in the back. The ground has been disconnected from the neutral since it's a sub panel. You can't have them bonded together. The neutral focus here. The neutral comes down to the neutral bus bar, serving these two. And then I have the hots right here for 240, and then it goes up back to the main panel.